You are not going to believe how fast this entire situation flipped because the people who are running these high-profile investigations are suddenly the ones being investigated. When I first heard this, I honestly had to replay it just to make sure I was hearing it right. It is one of the most unexpected turns we have seen in a while. So here is what is happening. A federal grand jury has opened a review into the head of the Federal Housing Finance Agency. Investigators want to know whether the mortgage fraud cases aimed at Senator Adam Schiff and New York Attorney General Letitia James were handled properly or influenced in ways that should never happen inside a federal investigation. And this is not a small technical issue. This goes right to the heart of how federal cases are supposed to be built, reviewed, and authorized. The concern is that unauthorized individuals were brought into those investigations, people who were not approved, not trained, and not cleared to handle evidence. Imagine a nationally watched investigation where someone quietly brings in outside helpers who have no legal authority to touch a single document. That alone could undermine everything. That is what triggered this grand jury's interest, and it is important to remember that career prosecutors had already been raising serious doubts internally. They repeatedly said that the evidence in these mortgage fraud cases did not meet the standard required for criminal charges. They said the facts were weak, the claims were not supported, and the push to prosecute critics did not align with the actual case files in front of them. Those warnings were ignored for months. Now the entire situation has turned around, and the Justice Department is focusing on how those cases were built in the first place. Another key figure in this situation is Ed Martin. According to sources, he used the same questionable approach involving people who had no authority to participate. That only increases the seriousness of the review because it suggests the issue may not be isolated to one person or one case. Reporters familiar with the investigation say more information is already being prepared behind the scenes, which means this story is growing, not shrinking. The next question is the one everyone is asking. How did the Justice Department decide to open an investigation into officials who were originally aligned with the administration's interests? Up until now, many people believe the department's actions were moving in a political direction. So how did something like this get green-lit? Here is what we know. Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche is aware of the investigation. He is not directing it, but he is informed about it and has not interfered with it in any way. In fact, some sources say he may be quietly supporting it. People close to him have reportedly been frustrated by the way these mortgage fraud cases were managed. Weak evidence, unapproved participants, and questionable methods are not things the department wants tied to its name, and frustration inside the department did not stop there. In an unrelated case out of the Eastern District of Virginia, prosecutors made a major procedural mistake by failing to present an indictment to a grand jury before getting it signed. That error alone could cause the entire case to be dismissed. Sources say Blanche was embarrassed by that and even more frustrated because it fit a pattern of investigations being rushed and mishandled. So now a federal grand jury is looking at whether unauthorized people were involved, whether rules were ignored, and whether weak evidence was being pushed in politically charged cases. Everything we are hearing points to the Justice Department treating this very seriously. This story is still developing, and more information is expected soon. The moment it breaks, I will be right here to break it all down for you.